Welcome off to the web.
Welcome everybody back to Off the Rails Podcast, episode 25. You just heard Jems' awesome daughter do our intro, and today we have a special guest with us. It's a super treat for me since I do this podcast with one of my best friends, Jems, every week anyway. But we have one of my other best friends, one of the greatest human beings alive, national touring musician, does nonprofit work with Funding the Future, also is getting ready to release his fourth full-length record called Start Staying on May 11th, 2021, which is my birthday. And hope everybody likes him as much as I do. Mr. Carter Hulsey, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me. It is very good to be back. I had a great time last time. So,
yeah. Yeah, we've had some. I had a podcast name change since then, and everything else. It's been awesome, but glad to have you back to talk. I know we talked about it on the last time that when we got closer to the record coming out, we would do this, and so I'm excited. And I am one of the lucky people who have actually heard the record. So you did this cool thing where you sent out a couple boxes with old school Discmans in them, and they were sealed shut so no one could mess with it, but everyone could hear the record. So I listened to it probably like 5 times before I sent it off to Matt, who was the next person in line. But yeah, really cool idea. Where did you come up with that idea? Did you?
People have done it. I don't know if they've done it exactly the way I did, but I think Radiohead released. I think they sent all the radio DJs cassette player that sealed shut with their new single on it. My buddy Max Ludwig, he sent some demos to producers in a similar way, just like on cassette. So yeah, I don't know. Kevin Deems Kevin he plays drums for me a lot, and he does a lot of video and photography stuff for me, and for a lot of other people. We were just kind of talking about promoting the record and looking at how to get the most people to hear it, and all the social media sites. You got to spend money if you want. It doesn't matter how many followers you have on them. You got to spend money to reach them all if you want to post something. So
yeah,
I just told Kevin, I was like, man, I would rather try to get other people to post about it. I think that would be more beneficial. Like if I could get some of my friends from around the country to hear the record and post about it on their social media, I feel like that would be money and time better spent. So it was a lot of work, and it was way more of a logistical nightmare than I thought it would be. Because the goal was, it's okay, I'm going to make these 10 boxes and I'm going to send them out. And I had I don't know if you can see back there. You can't really, but
I could see it a little.
There's I started this flow chart, and there's more behind the bookshelf, but I started this flow chart that was very first one I sent to my parents to test it.
Yeah.
And my parents get it, and it doesn't work. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I was like, surely they're just using it wrong. A lot of people haven't seen a CD player in a second.
Yeah.
And it's glued shut, so they can't open it. And my mom's like, it doesn't work. And I was like, because I'd already ordered everything. All the boxes were custom designed. Yeah. Everything was custom made about it. So the fact that it didn't work was pretty devastating for a second. They sent it back. Turned out the CD player was just busted. And I would say 8. So the very first CD player I sent broke. And I would say 8 others broke as they were out there. And I was having to swap out CD players. I was returning. It was a nightmare. And now I only know where 4 of the boxes are. The others are gone, lost. And I'm hoping 20 years from now there's a podcast where this guy's I found this box in my great-great-grandfather's attic, and it's the website still works. And that's my goal, is to be on This American Life two decades from now.
Well, it was really cool. I actually really enjoyed it. I got I think it's still sitting over here. Maybe it's not. I thought it was sitting here, but you sent out these each one of them had like mine when I got it had 2 left, I think, but like I had an envelope with my name on it, and you like written me something nice on the back, and then it had instructions on how to go about listening and sending it on to the next person. You had like a website to keep track of it, which is really cool for me, especially too, because like I think I was like the 5th person to get it, but like everybody was signing the inside of the lid, which was pretty neat. So you were the first one that had the date, and then for me, my box, I had a Santino's box.
Yeah.
So that was cool because I was Rocket to the Moon fan.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, it's kind of cool. That's I kind of guessed sort of where it kind of came from, and it kept moving it around. And then, but yeah, I thought it was a really interesting way to get it. And I made a little video for it,
which awesome.
Which I'll probably throw at the end of this podcast, just to throw it on the end so you guys can watch it.
Yeah, the goal was to have them go around the country, and then towards the end, like now, was to get them all back. And I would have everybody's names in them, and then I was missing them to radio DJs and be like, hey, this has been all over. This is going to be the single. Record comes out on the 11th, and then give it return postage because I want it back again. But the goal was at the very end to send the 10 boxes to these 10 radio DJs. Like I said, I only know where 4 of the boxes are currently, and relying on the USPS is tough stuff right now. So we'll see if the last part happens. But in theory, it was all a good idea. Yeah.
Are any of the boxes in your possession, or you just know who has them?
I just know who has them. 4 of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tone, that gives me a good idea for our podcast. We should find like iPod Generation 1 shuffle or something, and we'll send our podcast around.
That'd be pretty cool, actually. Just figuring that out. I'm sure that would be a logistical nightmare as well.
We almost did iPods. We almost got these MP3 players, and because at first I was like, I don't want them to be able to take the CD player out, or I don't want them to be able to like download the music, because not that I cared if it got out. Like, as an independent artist with like not a lot of support, the coolest thing that could happen was my record leak, and I'd be like, I can't believe, that would be great.
Yeah.
Press. But it wasn't that, but I was just like, I just want it to only exist for this person for a second, and then I want it to be gone. But as the CD player started breaking, I was like, they're not sealed shut anymore. You can just take the CD out, play it on whatever you want. Like just, but the iPod, that was a thing. It was like, to charge it though, they're going to have to plug it in, get it on, you can take the song super easy. So that's why
mine was still working when I got it.
Was your CD player white or black?
White.
That was an original. I can't believe it still works. The other 8 stopped. 80% of them stopped working.
The only issue was, but from the time that I got it and listened to it like 5 times till the time I sent it, the batteries died. So I actually literally put the original batteries next to it in the box, and then I replaced the batteries for the next person.
Awesome. That's awesome.
So I figured that was an easy one, but yeah.
And yours went to Matt Womack?
Matt. Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know if his the one that's still know where it's at.
I know where his is. He got it down in Texas, then he sent it to my buddy Steven in Arkansas.
And Steven was the last one because he was the last envelope.
He was the last one. I have not. I don't know if Steven has it yet.
Okay.
I know Matt sent it to him.
Nice.
So how many people did you send it to? You said there were 10 Walkmans or Discmans?
Yes, I can. Here, I'll tell you real quick.
I was gonna say mine was number 9 of 10, and I was the 6th person to sign the lid, so I'd guess there was 8 people that were slated to get my box.
Well, and before yours,
like 80 stops?
Huh?
So 80 stops possibly, like overall.
Well, so 3 or 4 boxes were sent like to where it's like, okay, you get it, and then you pass it on to this specific person, and that, but. The others were sent to where it's like you pass it to whoever you want.
Oh, okay.
So like some of them started. Those are the ones I don't really know where they are right now.
Yeah.
And like there were like 2 or 3 down in Texas when all the flooding or all the ice and snow was happening.
Oh shit.
So I was like, who knows?
Who knows?
So I think I have like 45-ish stops. Like I keep a Google spreadsheet of where they've all been, so I can account for like 45 stops.
Nice.
But I know there's more. I just
What's the you're in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
You're our second musician guest from Tennessee. We had Matt Hires on. Do you know who Matt Hires is?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, that's awesome.
So we had Matt Hires on. He did a 90s kids movie draft with us. It was pretty funny.
That's awesome.
But
overall, I think
third Tennessee. I think we had somebody else.
I think Chris Moneymaker lived there.
Oh yeah, we had Chris Moneymaker on. Are you a poker guy? So do you know what the World Series of Poker is? Like,
I do.
It's on ESPN. Okay. Like, so he's the one who blew it up. Like, he was an amateur and he won it. And like, so he won it in 2003 and like basically started the .com poker boom that then shut down poker online. And then like, it's the moneymaker effect. It was crazy. So we
What's
had him
he doing now?
Still playing poker. And delving it, and this is a perfect segue. I'm not usually good at segues, but this is a perfect segue because I was going to ask you about this. He, when we talked to him, he was dealing in NFTs as far as Top Shot go, and I wanted to ask you as a musician and doing things in a weird construct of ways, how you feel, or if you're into that NFT kind of thing. I know Kings of Leon, I think, are going to be the first people to, or have already been the first people to release an NFT album. So I didn't know if you had delved into that realm yet.
I'm no, I haven't. I to quote Warren Buffett, so to quote someone that no one cares about, I don't like I don't know anything about it. I don't get it, you know? So what, non-fungible token, is that what it is?
Yep, that's like, correct. Yeah.
When it first started, I called Gooding. I was like, dude, why don't we hedge our bet, record every song we've ever done on one time, put it on this thing, and sell it to you, and you can have it, and we'll talk about it later if something cool happens. But I'm all for people making money any way they can in art, as long as it doesn't hurt somebody else. So if I can wrap my head around it, maybe I'll try to take a go at it.
So the reason I thought it was interesting is so I've fucked around with it a little bit to be honest with you. Now I've done the NBA Top Shot thing where basically you open packs. It's like opening trading cards, but then you get moments, and then like I've sold them. Like, so I bought like a $14 pack, and they're hard to get because like they only make a limited amount of them. So I got one, and I got 3 moments, so 3 basically highlights from basketball, and I paid $14 for them. I sold them within 2 hours for $200. Those 3, like, it made no sense because they were limited, but I've messed with it a little bit, but I've done a little research because my brother's an artist. So basically what you do is you take it's on the blockchain. So like if you print it. Whatever, not print it, but like if you mint it, if you mint your record as an NFT, like there's only one copy of it, or you can make as many copies as you want, but each one's a mint. But then as those sell, you could tell the chain. So it reminded me of sort of like what you were doing with sending these boxes out, is like each one transferred to somebody else, if you sell it, and then some of them have just gone crazy. So it's kind of like that Wu-Tang record. Remember the Wu-Tang record where they printed one?
Yes.
It's kind of like that, but like on the internet.
I had it. Yeah. I don't understand it. I think it's awesome. I mean, NPR did a story on it the other day, and they were just talking about essentially how it could maybe help create like lifelong revenue for art. You know, like you talk about these painters that have painted something and they sold it when they were down on their luck for $1,000, and now whoever is selling it for millions. And it's like, well, if it was an NFT, that their fingerprint would be on it the whole time, and they'd get a royalty the whole time. So I'm all for anything like that. I think we keep devaluing, art as a whole, and I think the more we do that, the less quality art we're going to have. Who can afford to keep creating? And this isn't me shitting on Spotify right now. Like, whatever. Like, I don't care. It is what it is. It's fine. But unless we as a society agree to pay for art, then we're going to get less quality art. And but there's so many more big problems right now than art. Yeah. So that like, who cares? Like, but in a weird way, it's kind of like it kind of feels like it's going to come back. Like it feels like it's time. Everything kind of goes in like a circle. Everything comes back around. I feel like there's something sitting there that's like the art world's ready to have like a renaissance. I hope so. So.
And you've always kind of been ahead of the curve, because like you did sort of like the Patreon thing before Patreon was Patreon, to where, like, by the way, speaking of that, I know you still do that, and I think my credit card expired, so I got to figure out how to re-sign up for it.
That's why I was late getting on, because my buddy Eric just hit me up. He's like, dude, I don't think I'm helping you out anymore monthly. Like,
yeah, and I got to figure that out, because I definitely am. I support the people that I and I've obviously been around for a while.
The thing I love, and I'm excited. We'll talk about this, later. But the thing that I like about it's for anybody, it's just $5 a month, and you get a new song every month, and you get you get 50% off merch and stuff. But something that I like about it is, almost every song that's on my new record, I released as an acoustic idea, like as a demo, for the last year. So if people that keep up with it, they've heard like where the record started, and like if it was a demo that, like, if it was a song I wrote with Gooding, like the demo was he and I. The second that's because if I'm writing with somebody, we'll write and then we're like, all right, we did it, and then we get out the voicemail and record it, and like that's what it is. So it's cool because like once a month I'm usually like giving something that's like in the like right after creation, which is like a fun, like it's just a cool part of the whole process.
Yeah, no. And it's something that I really enjoy, especially like I know on the last record, it was cool to get them every month. Like you were like, okay, cool. Like you had these things, and you could see where they went, later on in full production and all that kind of stuff. But I'm a sucker for like acoustic music, like just acoustic stripped down, because I'm like, I feel like if it's a good song there, it can always it'll be a great song or a good song no matter what going forward. Absolutely. So, but if the bones are good, then you're good. But yeah, so but remind me to ask you afterwards. I gotta figure that out. I don't know what the heck happened. I like lost my card, and then I think I canceled it, and then I think I screwed something up. But but to kind of go to bring that up. So like if you, after people listening to this, if you want to go and be part of a cool, awesome creation thing, it's at carterhulsey.com. They can sign up.
Yep, that's it.
And basically, like I said, it's $5 a month. You get like a new song basically almost every month. And then for me, wearing a Carter Hulsey shirt right now.
Ooh.
That was just by chance too, right?
No. I mean, I have like 700 Carter Hulsey shirts. So I was wearing a Carter Hulsey shirt on our last podcast that just released. It was the yellow sleeved Midwest music one. But yeah, so like if you're gonna buy merch, you get 50% off merch. I mean, yeah. So it's a good way to support an artist directly to the artist, which is cool. So,
that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. I mean,
like that little part on the website.
Hey,
from you.
Heck yeah, no. And so for anyone who didn't listen to the first one, I guess too, but follows our podcast, me and Carter met 12 years ago. It has to be 12 years ago.
2010. Was it 9?
It was before that, because I specifically I got divorced. So I got divorced in my divorce started in 2009. You called me the day after that process started to ask me to make you a Leprechaun in Alabama shirt. So and we had already met at that point. So before that, I think I met you literally like the month after my daughter was born. I think that was like, so, and you just obviously, no one else saw this, but my daughter, who's 13, just said hi to you. So yeah, so it's got to be like 12 years now.
Yep. Man, that's crazy.
How well did that shirt do?
It actually didn't go, because it was supposed to be, I guess it's inside baseball, but it was supposed to be for when Carter played in Alabama during an outside. I think you were going to do like an outside show. It was when Never Shout was going to open for Dashboard, but that got canceled. That tour got canceled.
That whole tour got canceled.
Yeah, and by the way, ironically enough, I was with you in Pennsylvania the night that got canceled.
We've had some. You were with me when I released like my first like full length.
Yeah. No pocket. Yeah, we released that,
and that's why I had. So on the boxes, not going back there, but like I tried to have some people like in the same vein that kind of knew each other. So like Matt remembered you. He's like, so, like I was,
because we were at Matt's house.
Yeah.
So It's and that's the cool thing I love about music, and especially like having come up playing music and like and I don't so it's weird like you're an interesting guest for us because like so I was a military brat, I moved around a lot, so like I really found this like this community inside of like that music scene. And like you obviously you're part of a music scene, but like just having like-minded people, even if they lived in different states, like you kind of were like, okay, like that person is me if I grew up in Missouri because you're from Missouri, but like you also you grew up in a small town, and Jems is literally from a small like the smallest town I think possible, maybe like his population is 6. No, no, he's from a super small town though.
I mean, there's less than probably like 2,000 people, but it's all like spread out in farmland.
Is your town incorporated?
I don't even know how that works.
Isn't that a thing? Like there's like
we're not called unincorporated Rolling Prairie. I know this town's called unincorporated.
Wait,
I'm looking it up on Wikipedia for the census.
Yeah.
Indiana?
Yeah, Rolling Prairie, Indiana. Yeah. Which is
so
of
582. Sorry.
582? Damn.
That was 2010 though. There's got to be more now.
Nah. Well, you've created 3 lives, I think, or 2 lives.
Rolling Prairie is an unincorporated community.
So you're not unincorporated. Jems just learned something. By the way, Jems is really good with his Indiana history. We actually I gave him a test one time on this thing, and he actually did pretty good on it.
Well, in 4th grade, we had our history that entire year was Indiana history, and I apparently remember 4th grade well.
I had Missouri history. We had to make a Missouri book, and I don't remember any of it, but yeah.
We had to do a report on a famous person from the state of Indiana, and I did mine on John Mellencamp.
Nice.
I think Vonnegut's from Indiana, and Eugene Debs is from Indiana, right? Those are my favorites. Let me see.
Yeah. See, Indiana's got a deep history, so
there's a lot of like random things, like famous people from Indiana that are surprising.
Which I find. I do find
Indiana.
See, I do find it interesting because I was born in Michigan. You were born in Indiana, Jems, right?
Yep.
And then Carter, you were born in Missouri,
Texas.
Or you were born in Texas, but like lived most of your life in Missouri, and that's all the Midwest. Even though it's kind of spread out, though, it's like weird that we're kind of all Midwesterners. But yeah. So I guess the one thing I just listened to our podcast back that we did on Swiss Army Man. And the one thing I forgot to kind of ask, which I wanted to ask, and it's bugged me ever since, was how would you? Because I get asked a lot because I have lyrics of yours tattooed on me. So people ask me often like what those lyrics are, and then I explain to them, and then they're like, "Oh, what kind of music?" And I probably don't explain it properly because you kind of have like a lot of different influences.
Man. That's why I have no elevator pitch. I've been on some elevators. I've never been able to convey.
So, like, how do you describe your music to people?
A singer-songwriter. I don't know.
Okay, that's what I do too. I say.
For me, it's like you said, like if the work holds up with just the guitar, like that's what I'm interested in. So
yeah.
For me, it's a guitar. It obviously, doesn't have to be a guitar, but I just. I don't know. I just say singer-songwriter, but that's not enough anymore because we got plenty of genres. I don't know. The second I figure that out, things will be going a little bit. I don't know. I won't have construction paper all over my walls. But
do you just try to find people that are like you think are in the same wheelhouse as you? Like so I just did how the sausage is made. I just made the Resurgent Swiss Army Man podcast, which will actually come out before this because it's come out Saturday, but this will come out Monday. Where I did 6 degrees of separation as the topic. So it was like, is that kind of how you explain to people? Like you're like, I'm sort of like this person, but kind of like this person, and you have to get to a bigger name, like that topical. Like I'm like Brandon Flowers. If Brandon Flowers played,
I had an acoustic guitar. Grew up, never heard of Las Vegas. Yeah, I don't know. Golly, yeah, no, that's a great way to put it. I mean, yeah, because when I say like singer-songwriter, like, oh, like James Taylor, no.
You're like, well, I mean, we play guitar and sing. Yeah.
It's I feel like most of the music that I like fell in love with early was like those people called themselves singer-songwriters. It was cool. That's what they were. It's like Jackson Browne, he's a singer-songwriter. Like Dylan, singer-songwriter. Like that was enough. Like Tom Waits, singer-songwriter. Like there wasn't like there didn't have to be. It's like this person writes music and they. It's like, all right, that's enough. Like that's good. I'm cool with that.
You're like, I'm gonna check it out.
Clubs. It did like it's
Now it's like singer-songwriter, and you're like.
Now your daughter's 13, and I'm.
You're like she's like Taylor Swift. No, you're the second youngest person on this podcast. So I mean,
Jems, how old are you?
31.
Okay.
And Tone turns 40 on the release of your.
Hey,
album.
I'll turn 38. I'm not quite 40. I'm holding on.
Dude, the older I get, the more fun I'm having. I went through a minute, like 25. I think I was like, oh crap, I'm dreading. Yeah. But I'm thoroughly enjoying life currently.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing. So like, so you're not quite. You're like 2 years older. Yeah, I was gonna say you're about to enter your Jesus year. That's what people call it, the 33. Yeah. So, have you ever? So literally, I guess like we met when you were like 20. So yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But like you had been doing it a little bit before then. Like that's got to be impressive. I know, like you were like, I feel old because Lorelai's 13, but it's like you've been making it as a musician this entire time. So
yep.
So I mean that's pretty cool. That's and you've done some awesome things too. I mean, you've played massive venues, you played intimate clubs, you played cool like you've played for other people before, like because you're Jems. I think I've sent some songs to Jems, but anyone listening, like I mean, you're an impeccable guitar player. You are like, I mean, your guitar skills are pretty phenomenal.
Thank you.
So, like you stand alone. You stand alone as just as a musician, but like also like obviously singer songwriter. Like I love lyrics. Your lyrics are amazing too. But like just as a musician alone, like if people have brought you out on tour to play.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. I mean, it's I was talking to one of my buddies, Sean, who's Langhorne Slim, and I was like, I was like, dude, I grew up listening to you. Like, what's it like touring with the Avett Brothers, or what's it like, getting to like hang out with Springsteen, like, because I see Sean, and I'm like, man, like that's crazy, like that level, and he's like. He was very cool because he's like, it's I have the same feelings that you have. Like we're just at different spots, and like he's like, I want to play in front of a bigger crowd. I want to have a bit, it's always that thing. The older I get, the more I realize that my happiness is not tied to success. Success is as defined as what I've always, I guess, thought it was. It's I'm rich people have similar problems. Maybe their problems are cooler than mine.
Yeah.
Maybe they're they messed up. Like,
it's all the same.
It's all about just like, again, like the older I get, it's just like I'm pretty, like things are all right. Like you said, dude, I've gotten to play music for a minute, and like not everybody that's wanted to do that has been able to say that. So I am thankful. Like. Yeah.
Well, I always find it fascinating because like now being the perk of being 38 is like seeing people like you throughout your career and like having been on early, on in the process and getting to see like the growth, or like someone like my brother who's like done some crazy amazing things in the art world, like watching his career. He's been an artist for his entire life. That's how he's put food on his plate and a roof over his head. And you're like, I always find it fascinating that people can do that. Cause like, I mean, you're your own boss. I mean, you are your own business in like to be able to like have a business. There's not a lot of businesses that last 12 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like to have your own business that's lasted that long and continues to thrive. And I know you do a lot of other stuff too. Like you do like I don't even know what it's called, but like I guess like you do songs for like for movies and TV and commercials.
Yeah, man. You know, so my buddy Gooding, that Jems, I just gotta ask, man. Talk to me about the cat, and then I'll get back to it.
So when I had to stand up earlier, right before we started, this stupid ass cat was scratching at the door like repeatedly, wanting to come down here, and now she just was like rubbing on my leg, so I picked her up.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
By the way, this is a Jems trademark. If it's not a cat, it's a baby. It's like Jems always has something.
I like it. Or drinking something. I like it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I got. I
gotta stay hydrated.
Always gotta stay hydrated. I already went through a cup of coffee already.
I've gotten good at the mute button too for things. So, speaking of kids, I don't know if you can see it. My wife noticed it after the last time Tone and I recorded, but I this way have a black eye.
Oh yeah, he's got a black eye. Yeah.
My daughter kicked me in the face.
Yeah.
How old's your daughter?
4. We were wrestling. She always wants to wrestle, and she's trying to push me off the couch, and I caught a stray foot to the eye. Didn't know it was black until my wife came down here and was like, "Is your eye bad? Yeah. Or what's wrong with your eye?" I was like,
"It's on the shaded side of the screen too, so I didn't."
Yeah, I wouldn't have noticed.
It looks like it when it was darker, like midweek. It looked like I had mascara on or eyeliner,
which is hilarious because I would have went with a theme of like 2 shows ago. 2 shows ago, me and Jems were just on the show by ourselves. We had no guests, so we ended up doing an emo traveling Wilburys draft. So we drafted emo artists, but as if we were creating traveling Wilburys. Wow. Who would be this is because you're a musician. Who would be your number one draft pick if you out of the emo genre to like create a traveling Wilburys?
I hate to. I don't know. Give me some examples of yours because I want to know what you're defining as emo.
I have an idea, Tone. Wait.
We went pretty broad.
I'm going to read each of ours. Okay. I'm not going to say whose is whose.
Oh yeah. How about you? Yeah, you read each band and then you tell us which band's better.
You cool with that, Carter?
I tell you which band I think is. Oh, whose band is
that? Yeah.
Okay, so here is the one. You got Brendan Urie, Gerard Way, Jesse Lacey, Tyson Ritter, Tom Higginson. I can't read my handwriting.
He's from Plain White Tees, Tom Higginson, and Jesse Lacey's from Brand New.
Okay.
Amy Lee.
From Evanescence.
And then the other one is Patrick Stump, Chris Carrabba, John Nolan,
John Nolan's the original second guitar player / co-vocalist for Taking Back Sunday.
Okay.
Tone's musical knowledge goes pretty deep. Ben Gibbard, Amy Lee, and Josh Eppard.
You said Amy Lee twice. It was supposed to be Haley Williams.
Haley Williams, yeah, I wrote it. I don't know how I set that up. It is Haley Williams.
I mean, the thing with, I'm guessing the last one was yours, and because I didn't know any of them. I mean, I gotta go with. I'm assuming yours, Jems. Which I mean, Gerard Way and Tyson from All American Rejects, and then Brendan Urie is. I mean, that's a pretty stack. Whose team was Haley's on?
That was mine.
Okay.
And she was going to be actually my last pick, and then I had to go to Amy Lee.
Amy Lee.
Have you guys seen Umbrella Academy?
Yeah.
No, but we talked about it.
Yeah.
What a talented dude.
Yeah, and him and his brother both. I think they're like they just make comic books now. Nuts, right? I mean, but it kind of makes sense though when you like watch like the Black Parade. You're like, oh yeah, that's kind of like you guys were like, that was like cinematic, like back when people watched music videos.
That was the only My Chem thing I got. I was like, I understand this is good. I not that the others weren't, but I didn't get the rest of it. But the comic book stuff was. I just like people that are talented. And that man is talented.
I picked Chris Carrabba because Dashboard, obviously, but
great.
But yeah, but I was gonna go with
Did you
I was
see,
gonna go with Jared from the honorary title though, but I didn't. I didn't think anyone else would.
Jared.
I thought that was a little bit too far off though.
I like his name.
Jared. Well, yeah, your name's Jared. So that makes sense.
Jordell. Did you see Carabas tweet with Isbell and Rustin Kelly?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So good the other day. It made me laugh.
Yeah,
Anyway,
because Rustin did Screaming Infidelities cover like last year.
he did. He also did Helena.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he did. It was called like Dirt Emo or something like that. Is the name of the record?
That's what he calls his genre.
Yeah. Which is interesting. So do you? I know you mentioned Rustin Kelly on the last one. Do you guys run in the same circles? Is that like?
I haven't left my house.
Well, I mean, like before.
No, I mean, like I see him on Instagram. Like he follows some people that I know.
Yeah.
I don't know him,
No.
But Nashville is like when you first move here, you're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And then like the more you live here, it's like if you go to Red Door enough, which is this bar in Midtown, it's like, or there's a couple spots. It's like if you go there enough, like you're gonna know all the people that you know. And it's
Definitely, yeah. Well, I appreciate. I haven't sent you a thank you, but thank you for turning me on to Phoebe Bridgers on the last one because I've been listening. I listened to quite a bit of her since then. But while we're talking about Nashville, what's the place that Matt Hires said where is because Matt's like I don't play a lot of places in Nashville. He's like he is from Florida, so he's like it helps me tour in all different directions, being centrally located. But but he was telling us his favorite place is this place, and I guess they only play like old music, but like you can get like a PBR and like a bologna sandwich for like $5 or something.
Robert's Western World.
He said it's his favorite place all the time.
Dude, that has rules, and it's like it's right behind the Ryman. So like, the Ryman back in the day used to not sell booze. So like all the like Johnny Cash and all those guys would like Christopherson. There's like this little alley between the Ryman, like the church.
Oh wow!
And there's like an underneath entrance, and you can pop up, and then you're in an alley that's like the back door of like Robert's Western World and Tootsie's and Legends. And so it's just cool. But like when like big celebrities play the Ryman, like a lot of them hang out at Robert's before or after the show. Like
that's cool.
Because you can just go straight, through the alley to the Ryman.
So it's like the green room. It's the unofficial green room.
Yes, I haven't had the bologna sandwich, but I'm sure it's wonderful. They've been doing it for a while, so. Yeah.
That's dope. We've surprisingly enough on our podcast we talk about Nashville a lot, which is interesting because we had obviously Matt Hires on. Jim Shear told us a story about how like somebody was telling him that they were driving down, or Chris Caraba actually told him that. Some kid was just driving down the road who would appreciate the emo genre, and it happened to be him, some of the guys from Newfound Glory, and like I guess some of the guys from Yellow Card, and the dude like double took and was like, "They shouldn't be here. That's not who I think it is," and just kept driving.
Everybody lives here. I'm convinced that like everyone lives here.
Yeah, I think we unofficially started a. Maybe a punk band. I don't know what we didn't find the genre, but it's called Ghost Man on Third with Jim Shear. Me, Jems, and Jim Shear have a band called Ghost Man on Third that we minted on that. We were going to move to Nashville, so we were we said everybody was moving there, so we're going to go.
Yeah, it's when I first got here, it was 100 people a day were moving here.
That's
this was
crazy.
5 years ago. Yeah,
that's wild.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's nuts.
I've been through Nashville, but we were just in like Gatlinburg. In November.
Yeah. Well, next time we need to stop and we'll hang out.
Yeah.
I gotta do that.
Tennessee is pretty awesome. Like I enjoy the scenery, the mountains, and it's nice.
Yeah.
I drove through Nashville when I moved to Colorado.
Okay. Yeah. Nashville used to be like, I'm gonna mess up this fact, so I'm not even gonna try to say it. It used to be a pretty centrally located big city in the United States. Is all I'm gonna say. It's cool. I will say, being from Missouri, I always kind of like, I know it's the Midwest, but it's like kind of feels like the South a little bit too.
Yeah.
And we're like parallel with Nashville. Joplin is parallel with Nashville on the map. This is the South. I was a little like, when I moved here. Like, and you know, Nashville is very similar to like Austin as far as, you know, I'm in a red state, but the city's blue. Like, but it was like I was a little bit like I am in the South right now. I didn't, you know. Anyway, we don't need to talk about that, but it was just kind of like.
Well, I find it interesting though because it's like that. It's one of those cities like I grew up always like. It was like people were like, "Oh, Nashville," and like you're like it was always like you knew the name. Like it was like people weren't like, "Oh, where's Nashville?" You're like "Oh, that's like that's a big city." Like to me, like as someone who's traveling around, but then like Austin, like you know, obviously we had like the peak of the South by Southwest days, like. Probably when we were a little younger. So now it's weird to see Austin kind of blowing up as like there's a ton of people moving there and like Joe Rogan's there and you know like
I didn't know he was there.
Yeah, Joe Rogan moved his entire thing to Austin.
Huh.
And like I guess there's a bunch of other like big comedians that are basically because California I guess is closed still pretty much.
He moved a while ago too. That was pretty early into quarantine. I think he saw like the California writing on the wall. He got that Spotify money and was like moving to Austin.
I bet he was also like, I got that Spotify money. Didn't want to pay 30% of it in taxes in California. So he moved somewhere
probably right.
It's 10% here, you know. I didn't even file a state return in Tennessee. We don't even have that.
Matthew McConaughey was like, "Come on down."
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where we're gonna base our podcast out of is Tennessee, just for taxes.
Shit. Yeah, why not? Let's go.
My dad graduated high school in Tennessee, so I think I can claim it, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Get over here.
Yeah, why not? We're Midwest. I mean, it's
mighty Midwest, dude.
Yeah. No, yeah, but it's super interesting. I find it very, very fascinating that just the like you were saying the history of Nashville. Like I know you've played the Bluebird quite a few times at least. I'm assuming I've seen it on social media, and I know that's like a hallowed ground of like. Yeah. There's some songs that have started there.
Yeah. It's man, that first time I played the Bluebird, I had just moved to town and my buddy Corey Brannon, who like, you know, I've talked about him before, you know, him and, you know, he's one of like the top 10 of my favorite working writers. He hit me up and just asked me to come play. So it's like, oh my gosh, like one of my heroes is asking me to play this like insane venue. So yeah, it was very nerve wracking. I mean, cause you're sitting there, you're like, so many things have happened at the Bluebird, you know, like so many people have been discovered, so many like, and you know, you look around they've got all these old like black and white photos on the wall and it's just, it's crazy. So yeah, but it was just great. I mean, very thankful Corey asked me to play and ever since then, I don't know how many times I've played it. I've played it quite a few though. It's been really cool.
That's awesome. Like it's awesome to see like when you put stuff up or whatever. Like I know you'll be like, oh, I'm playing here. Like it's obviously been a while because it's COVID, but like but like you'd like put up like a show poster or whatever. I guess whatever they do now. They used to be show posters back in the day. Now they're like digital show posters.
Oh, I still print those out if they're cool enough. I love them.
You should make them NFTs and sell them. No,
dude. Well, how about you figure that out and you email me and we'll figure it. You know
it's hilarious. I had this exact same conversation with my brother because I was like, dude, you have a following. My brother has like I think like 30,000 followers on Instagram. Like, and I'm like, dude, you could sell like make a run of like 10 of them. I bet you could sell them for like $100 each. There's $1,000 each.
Yeah. For sure.
Like, I mean, just do it. But no, it's like it's really interesting to see. And then like, you know, you'll see people like commenting like you have a people love you like as like a musician and as a person like, and it's like cool to see like it's good. This will be like tooting my own horn, but like it's nice to see like when you're like. Especially in the world now where people get exposed for being terrible human beings, like where like you're like, hey, I picked right. Like Carter's a good guy. Like something drew me to the right people. Like
man, I think I've tried to be pretty honest in my songwriting. So I think you know I've got my fair share of bullshit. We all do.
We all do, yeah.
I think I've always tried to be pretty honest in the writing. You know, Jeff Tweedy from Wilco always says, like, you know, you write in spite of whatever you're going through, in spite of pain, essentially. So I think I've always tried to do that, and always tried to like kind of put it out there, not in like straight up journal writing, like here's my song, but as in like, you know, this is kind of where I'm at, and I hope it's helpful to like hear it this way, you know. It's
for sure.
I think, you know, people, I don't know, that's why I love songs, is people are able to say things that I'm not able to say, you know.
Yeah.
So
Well, I think that's definitely something that we're like, when you like listen, I was listening to Haunt Me yesterday. It happened to be in my work truck, and like, because I still have like physical CD copies of things, and I take them and I just leave them for people to listen to behind me because I have like 3 copies of it. But it happened to be, and I was like, man, there's nothing on the radio. I was like, whatever. I was like, I just hit the eject button and it popped out, and I was like, yes, and I put it back in.
Awesome.
So like, and like, you know, just like the way you word things is like, you're like, okay, like it's beautifully written, but also like, it also is like, you can feel like, oh, I could be in that situation. Like that's like the one that hits me usually on that record is well, actually just listening to some of them, I was like, and you're like, man, it's kind of a morbid, it's like, I don't know how many times I listened to is it L Train? No. Is that the first song on the record?
Hanging Around.
Hanging Around. That's what I was thinking. Yeah. Hanging Around. Where it's like, I mean, it's literally about, I mean, it's got a, it's got a tie to something pretty negative. Like, and then you're like, oh, like it's metaphorical, but it's also like, you're like, oh, I get that metaphor very sharply, and it's
that
like,
was in a tough spot when I wrote that bad boy.
Like, you know what I mean though, but it's like, you know, you're like kick the chair, let me go, you know, cut me down, you know what, it's like one of those like hits, like, hey, like make a fucking decision, like stop fucking with me, like kind of thing, like, and you can feel that, but it's like betterly worded. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
that was, I think that song I wrote with Jimmy Deegan, who you know, played with Every Avenue, and then played with Florida Georgia Line for a long time. Kane Brown is who he's with now. I think that song, that one was kind of tough to write, and it only happened because I was with Jimmy, because we were both able to like, I think writing something that dark, like I was going through some stuff, and you know, I think if neither person has to completely say they wrote it, you know what I mean? Like if somebody's like, hey, that song is a little, you're like, well, I wrote it with somebody else, like, you know what I mean? Like, whatever part of it you want to pass on to the other guy, you can do that. So I think that's the reason it came out just the way it did, is because we were both able to say like, all right, we're going to tag team this and say what we want to say. And if it's weird for whoever, you can say that the other person said that part. So you
can always be like, yeah, I don't remember how that part.
That's all.
So you don't do a lot of solo writing anymore, right? Like, I mean, you kind of do a lot of co-writing. Is that,
you know, I did for a second. I still write a lot with Gooding. Jimmy and I still write, but like during COVID, man, I just hunkered down. I think last year I wrote 38 songs, like full songs that I'd be like, you know, probably 25 of them I'd play for you right now, like proud of them songs.
Yeah.
And, you know, I wrote a lot by myself, and got back to, I think when I first moved here, it's easier to write with somebody else.
Yeah.
It's you know, when you're writing by yourself, like John Prine says, he's my favorite writer. He's like, I'd rather go eat a hot dog than write a song. It's true. Yeah. Like, you know, especially if you're working for yourself and you're like, golly, you know, it's when you're with somebody else that it's, you know, it can be on them to carry part of it. And you know, in Nashville, it's like, you know, you've kind of got some set time limits about, you know, how long you're willing to sit in that room. And when you're doing it by yourself. So during COVID, I definitely learned how to write by myself, how to just sit down.
That's awesome.
And, you know, I started I use a timer for pretty much my entire day, not necessarily to like let it be, like put me in any kind of lane, but just to make sure I'm putting in enough time. Like, you know, I write a verse and a chorus four times a week, no matter what. So, and I do that in the morning, and I write 4 no matter what, but I'll do it every day until I get 4. And it's like, I will spend 1 hour and 15 minutes on it, even if nothing happens in that hour and 15 minutes. But I really tried to get back to like sit down and figure out how to write by yourself again.
Definitely, that's all. I mean, that's awesome. That's the part I think a lot of people don't see, like when it comes to like the music that like so it's tough for me even like, I'll call myself out for it, but like I mean I'll do it too, like where I'm like, man, this song on the radio is garbage, like because you just don't want to hear, you're just like, oh my gosh, like I get it, but like you're like, yeah, someone did have to sit down and do that, like where it started, whatever, like and I still find songs that like my kids like that I'm like and I'll say it, I don't know if you listen to a lot of current music, but that Olivia Rodrigo has that Driver's License song, I'm like, I can listen to that song, I don't know why, maybe it's because it's pretty simple piano, like, but it's like basically like, I mean, it was a pretty big song. I mean, it was like, I think it was like the number 1 song in the country for 6 weeks, but but like it's very simple, like piano, like you're like, oh, it feels like it comes out of like a genre that I could listen to, but you're like, okay, but most of these songs you're like, oh my god, like I can't, but now I'm so old that I start hearing like influences in other songs, like I'm like, oh, that's like
Bieber put out a song that I loved the other day. Not the other day. It was a minute ago, but it was that Only One.
Oh yeah.
Oh my! When I heard that, I was like, "You gotta be kidding me! This is amazing!" Yeah, dude, I love that. I mean, that's part of the reason I like songwriting. It's like a magic trick. It's like it's beautiful but messy, and you don't really want to know the full story behind it because it'll take, Corey Brandon sums it up perfectly in that song Lily. We talked about it last time, but it's Bohemian Rhapsody didn't exist until Freddie Mercury like sang it. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy to think about things that didn't exist before they were like,
for sure. It's wild. It's pretty wild. Yeah. I was just listening to with it, it's been a while from this one too, but like that Luke Combs song, it's the one where he's like, I don't know if you listen to Luke Combs at all, but like he has like the it's like the Bob Around the Water song. That song is like, I like that song. The beginning of that song, the straight like maybe first 15 seconds is the beginning of Black My Lungs. Like legit, like legit. I hear it and I'm like, hey, wait, that's Carter's song.
Yeah, no, dude, yeah.
But I know, like, it's just like they're common chords, and people. But it's like every time I hear it, I'm like, that's what I hear to start off. I think, and that's probably why I like the song, to be honest with you. But like, I'm like, oh, okay, that's that song.
Luke Combs is amazing.
He is, yeah.
I do wonder, man. I think about that a lot. Like back in the day, like Chris. You just kind of wonder. Like when I was with Never Shout a lot, like Post Malone loved Never Shout. Like it's crazy, especially nowadays. Like how connected everybody is. Like I can message Steve Carell on Instagram if I want to. You know what I mean? Like that's crazy.
They don't always respond.
Oh, sure. But the fact that it's possible is crazy.
It's wild, right? It's kind of weird, right? Well, that's the not to go back, like I said, Swiss Army Man will be out by then. But like the 6 degrees of separation is very interesting. Like on life, like where it's like Facebook. One of the things that I mentioned on there is I think it was like Facebook. Yeah, Facebook. In like 2015, it was like the average people, if they had 5.8 billion people, I think it was on it. I can't remember. It's like something ridiculous. But like the average degree of separation was like 5.67. Like you could almost connect everybody within 5.67. That's gone down to 2016 or 2017. It was 4.87 with more people joining social media. 22% of the world's on social media. So you're like, we probably are closer than anyone thinks. So like,
I wonder how they're defining.
Probably contacts. I'm gonna guess. Probably like people you're friends with. I'm friends with you. You're friends.
But
I
see what you're saying. I'm not trying to. That's crazy. I just wonder if they're like,
I assume that's how, but it's like the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 3 degrees from Kevin Bacon, but
see Scott and
that probably puts me 4.
Wait, what?
That puts you 4. Yeah.
So
me 3 away from Kevin Bacon. I'm 4. Well, wait, how are you connected to him?
So my brother's first wife's dad is married to Kevin Bacon's sister.
Your brother's first wife's dad is married to Kevin Bacon?
But she was my sister-in-law, so you'd go straight to her.
Right.
So sister-in-law
That's
to
pretty
dad.
close, though.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was going to be like Brant, like
No.
placed a bet for him or something.
Yeah. No, I have a friend, Brant Tobler, who puts me. Who's the tall dude? Brad Garrett, Ray Romano's brother on Everybody Loves Raymond. Like my friend Brant, who I've done social media for, who's my friend, literally has stayed at Brad Garrett's house. Like he knows Brad Garrett. Like
Wow.
So I'm 2 degrees of separation from Brad Garrett, which means I'm 3 from Ray Romano.
Yeah. And then that connects you to a lot more people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so
that's crazy.
So it's wild. So I'm sure, like in the music industry, in Nashville especially, you're probably 1 degree from Dolly Parton. You know what I mean? Like if you really think about it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, I mean, yeah, because I guess it depends on how you would define it. But like you had, why am I drawing
I
a
define
blank?
it by if you've got their phone number.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
No, definitely.
Something like that.
But like you have, you had one of Garth Brooks's band play on
2 of them.
2 of them now, huh? Well, who played on your?
I guarantee I'm 2 from. I'm 1 or 2 from Dolly Parton for sure.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So like that means I'm 3 from Dolly.
Yep. So are you, Jems?
Yeah, Jems.
Yeah. What was the Garth Brooks connection there?
Jimmy Mattingly, who's Garth's fiddle player, and man, somebody else from. I thought I had somebody else. Anyway, Jimmy Mattingly, Garth's fiddle player, played on my record.
One of my buddies' ex-fiance is married to somebody that writes with Garth or something. So Garth was at their wedding. So like a bunch of people we know was like at the wedding with.
That's awesome.
I'm trying to figure out what his name is though.
Yeah, figure that out. But that's crazy though. So I mean, yeah, the separation, which is interesting, which is why I love, I think that's my ending speech, which people that podcast is out now if you're listening to this podcast. But basically, the ending speech was like, as everything kind of does get tighter, and like everyone is such a degree. Like I'm 1 degree to Carter. Now Carter has like somebody else who may be 1 degree from me that Carter doesn't know that's 1 degree from me. So I'm like, if I interact with Carter and we have a bad interaction or whatever, then like would I treat that other person that way? Because basically we're friends of friends, so it's like, why would you like treat everybody the way you want to be treated? Back to the golden rule we learned in kindergarten, basically.
Yep,
like
absolutely.
Especially with the world, everyone treat each other. Yeah. They should be treated. But speaking of degrees of separation, and you said you could DM Steve Carell.
Yes. Oh, here we go.
I think this might be a good time to start this draft.
Okay.
Which, to explain to people, we're doing a draft of characters from The Office, the TV show The Office, the American version. I assumed. Okay. But I was just assuming. But and we're going to pick them and make them into a 5-part band. So we can also assign what they do in the band as well afterwards or during. So Carter, the way we do this is me and Jems are always consistent on here, so like we don't care where we pick. I feel like we're almost pros at it at this point, even if it's something we don't know about. So we always give our guests the ability to pick what position they want in this draft. So 1, 2, or 3, knowing that if you draft 1, you get the 6th pick. If you draft 2, you get the 5th pick. If you draft 3rd, you get the 4th pick, and then so on and so forth.
I want 3.
You want 3? Okay, that's actually that's the spot that I think me and Jems both like. So you're already ahead of us on. All right, so
do I need a piece of paper for this?
you probably
It's recommended.
I mean, you could.
I'm still not.
By the way, before we start this, the one thing I did, because I always find it very interesting, because Carter, you're a book reader. What's the latest book that you've read that you really recommend to somebody?
Jude, I just man.
Running the Light.
Running the Light. Oh yeah. By the way, if you haven't, I should send you Running the Light by Sam Talent. He's a comedian we had on. He actually wrote this like really good like book about touring life of like a down and out comedian who was big and then small, became like on his downward spiral.
Okay.
It's a very, very interesting book. It's like it's a nonfiction book, but yeah, it's.
No, I just wrote it down. I don't know why. Later is the most recent. Almost done with. Here's thinking. He just consistently puts out quality work. Say whatever you want about him. He himself, I think, admittedly would say, it's like eating McDonald's, but it's consistent. I am just in awe of his ability to continually put out quality stuff. So I'll read anything he does. So I'm almost done with Fragile Things, I think it's called. I don't know. It's a book of short stories by Neil Gaiman. Unbelievable. And I'm also reading the Sermon on the Mount by this guy Emmett Fox. It's from the 1900s. It's really good. I'm usually reading a couple at the same time, but Later is finished. I'm almost done with the Gaiman book, and kind of in the middle of the Emmett Fox book.
I got that guy's name. It's Mitch Rossell. Rossel. I had my wife in it. Rossell.
Come here. Teddy. We got a cameo. Cameo time.
Oh,
look at that camo. Cameo.
You got a cameo camo. Can you say hi?
Hi.
Say, what's your name?
Hey, buddy.
I'm Ryan. All right, bud. Go back to sister.
Can
Hi, Rhino.
Mario?
Yeah, you can.
Did he ask for an Oreo?
Mario. He wants to play Mario.
Oh, it's like an Oreo.
A couple episodes ago, he asked for a cupcake, and I'm the one that answered. He said, yeah, go for
it. Yeah. By the way, I got in trouble for that later. There's a cupcake on the counter, and my wife was like, "Why is he eating a cupcake?" I was like, I think I might have said yes during a podcast."
That's why you write songs with other people. That's why you do podcasts with other people. It's Jems. It wasn't me.
By the way, I was going to make that reference. It is a lot easier to do things with somebody else because you can, especially in ask form, because I can get stuck on a question and then Jems will be like, "Oh yeah, what about this?" Or he thinks it's just things that I don't even think of.
Late night guys always have their, there's always somebody in the wings. And,
dang right. Yeah. Jems, which spot do you want, first or second?
I'll bet lead off.
Okay, sweet.
I gotta set my draft board up here. My draft sheet. Not draft board.
Somebody show me what theirs looks like. I don't know.
I just put 1, 2, 3, and then I put our names in.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. In the terms of it's just so I know who's been taken because I'll forget.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So I will get this Office draft started with the man from The Office who was probably the most interesting character in the show, but he was also in a rock band in the 60s.
It's a good call.
Creed Bratton from the Grassroots.
Yep, it's a great call.
That's legit. What's he playing in your band?
Well, according to his Wikipedia, he played the guitar and vocals. So okay. I will put him on guitar, I guess.
He can do both. I mean, you can have two guitars. So,
right.
I mean,
sure.
So got you. Oh shit. I'm gonna go with since we're bringing some real life into it too. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna take Dwight Schrute as my first pick because he played a drummer in a movie. So he's gonna be my drummer. He was in The Rocker, I think it was, with Teddy Geiger and Emma Stone, and then also he was roommates, and he's in Andy Grammer's first video because they were roommates. Yeah. Huh. So Rainn Wilson, Dwight Schrute.
I'm gonna go with I'm going to go with Andy Bernard because he's, and I'm not going to tell you what instrument he's playing yet because I don't know who's the rest of the people in the band, but he can fill in on whatever instrument. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
he's essentially a Swiss Army knife.
That's right.
Capable of he can be a supporting role. He can take control. Ed Helms is my number one.
Definitely. Ironically enough, in the last podcast, I asked Carter what if people cover people's music all the time, like obviously Carter's covered some beautiful Jillian Welsh, Miss Ohio, some other great covers, some Ryan Adams covers, all that kind of stuff. But I asked him if he got an email into his email box of somebody who covered his song, who would he be most impressed by? And he said Ed Helms.
I don't remember saying that.
You said Ed Helms busting out the banjo is what you said.
That's amazing.
So I'm glad you stayed with it.
All right, wait. So I get to go again, correct?
Yep, you get the next pick.
Okay, so I'm going to pick Jan Levinson because I feel like every band needs a
groupie,
kind of a wild card, kind of like a what in the world's going to happen. Kind of they're going to be on TMZ or on the cover of a magazine, good or bad, and she can sing. So her and Astrid, so she's going to be my lead vocalist.
I like that. I got it's like the world's falling apart here. Let's see. That's sweet. Yep, that works. Had to get my dinner order in, apparently.
Dude, I love it.
I didn't order. My wife ordered for me. It's gonna get real interesting. She ordered me chicken tenders from Freddy's. I don't know if you guys have Freddy's where you guys are at.
I don't know if I have Freddy's either.
It's like
Freddy's got chicken fingers.
Yeah, they do have Freddy. They're known for their burgers, but.
So then why'd you go with the chicken fingers?
I don't know, and I also just started keto, and they're deep. They're deep fried, so I'm gonna have to take all the skin off. But whatever, it is what it is. Well, they have good custard, by the way, too. This is like This is not brought to you by Freddy's, by the way.
If you want to, Freddy's.
But if Freddy's wants to, I'm gonna take. Damn, I'm torn right now. I'm gonna take. I'm taking Jim, because I was. Jim and Dwight. I feel like that. I feel like we might get some Oasis chemistry.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Tour's canceled.
So Jim Halpert is going to be my next one. I mean, talk about a glow up on that guy. I mean, you put a beard on him. I mean, he could just be a whole different.
Yep.
I mean,
he's got options.
But Dwight's playing drums for me. But I'm gonna go on. I'm not sure what Jim's doing yet. So I'm gonna keep him. Not sure yet.
Okay. So my next pick will be on the keyboard / piano, however you want to do it, and it'll be Daryl.
Yeah.
Damn it! I almost took him too.
And then I believe this one will be my drummer, and that'll be Kevin.
The Zits, man.
God, that's a good one.
Yeah. Okay.
Dude, that's wild. That's wild. Dude, Craig Robinson's a stand-up comedian. He does like that piano thing. He has some funny, hilarious ones. I mean, he's actually got like real skills. Yeah. Did you not know Craig Robinson was a comedian who did that? He has this funny one where he it's like a duet. It's like an old school like R&B duet where he's like playing piano and then he's got a guy singing with him, and it's like also a canceled R. Kelly-ish sort of like song, and it's like it's called "Who's Been Fucking My Lady," and like he's talking about it, right? And then at the end of the skit, he's playing piano. He like calls the number because he finds the number in the song or whatever, and then it's like the dude who's singing with him. His phone's ringing.
That's amazing. Yeah.
But it's like it's pretty.
Wait,
pretty
and
funny.
it's Kevin from The Office.
You took Kevin? No, Daryl.
No, Daryl.
It's Daryl. Okay.
Craig Robinson. Yeah.
Both of them.
You took Kevin. Shit.
I guess I didn't know.
I mean, I feel like I'm just getting all of the stars though.
Michael?
I gotta take Michael.
Yeah.
This is. I mean, I feel like that's good value in the third round. I feel like. I mean, he's a loose cannon though. I mean, he might sink the band eventually just because poor decision making skills, but. But he can sing because in Anchorman he does carry a tune for Afternoon Delight. So
Okay.
So you get 2 in a row, Carter. You get the.
I know. I'm going to go with Robert California on the harmonica.
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
What's his name? James Spader.
Yep.
Yep.
Was James Spader? Am I totally missing this one? Was James Spader the original Marty McFly, or is that somebody else? That was the other guy.
Idea.
Wasn't that Michael J. Fox?
No, Michael J. Fox is who filled in. There was another actor. I can't remember if it was James Spader or there was another guy that I always think is James Spader, but I'll figure that out.
I'm gonna. I'm gonna go with Jim Carrey. He was on one episode. Can I use him? He was the Finger Lakes guy. He was interviewing.
I'll take it. Yeah. Hell yeah.
He's not going to play an instrument. He's going to be, you know how bands used to hire, like a dancer? That's what he's going to be involved just visually.
Jim Carrey. All right. I mean, that's a deep pull. And
have you seen his audition thing for Clint Eastwood?
No.
He does this speech where he's honoring Clint Eastwood and he shows how he auditioned for him for his first role. And anyway, watch that. But that's what he's going to do.
I'm definitely going to have to check that out. I like that you made him a dancer too. It gave me the funniness of my favorite situation where that happened, and then that person became like bigger. Was do you remember the Humpty Dance?
No.
So when no one knows the Humpty Dance, the Humpty Dance is your chance. Do the Humpty. Dude had a freaking nose on him. So they had dancers because they were a hip hop band. And one of their dancers who danced around in a thong on stage was Tupac.
Wow.
Think about that come up.
Wow.
From that to that. By the way, the Humpty Dance.
Odd fact to know.
I just know random shit.
That was okay. That was a deep cut.
I know way random shit.
All right.
Go look it up. No, I'm just kidding.
You got the All-Star. Are you going to get Pam next?
Dude, I was like, do we go like? I feel like I got to do something like off the wall here. You know who I surprisingly I'm gonna go with. I'm actually gonna get Kelly, who was played by Mindy Kaling. I'm taking Mindy Kaling because I do feel like there are a lot of good bands that have like that male female play.
Yeah.
So we get that gives us a little diversity.
I like that.
My next pick is going to be, he was short-lived, and it was a disappointing character because I didn't really care for it, and I had high hopes for him. Taking D'Angelo Vickers.
Wow.
Who was Will Ferrell.
Right.
He performed well on Boats and Hoes, so with Step Brothers.
Yeah, Will Ferrell's got he's got he can ice
He's
dance.
An opera singer.
So yeah.
He's unbelievable.
That's damn, that was a good one.
That was a good one.
I wouldn't have thought about it if it wasn't for the Robert California pick or the Jim Carrey pick.
Yeah, that was
That was a deep pull. That was deep cut.
So, what do I want to do with my last pick? All these other ones have sort of made a little bit of sense. But I don't have a lady in the band yet. And Pam is still out there. So, I will take Jenna Fisher.
Nice.
That's great.
That's a good one. Pam.
My band's gonna implode just looking at these names.
I'm gonna make my band. If my band isn't gonna implode from having Dwight and Jim together, and just Michael Scott's presence in general.
Hey Brian.
So I'm actually gonna go with Angela Martin.
Wow.
Who was Dwight's girlfriend on the show.
Are you just not going to say her name?
Is it Angela Martin?
Oh. I thought you were like... Well, I knew that... See, The Office throws you off, though, because Angela Kinsey played her. So like half the characters played the character with the same name.
Yep.
And then Creed actually is just his full
name.
Wait, do you get one more?
No, I think that's my fifth, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
Carter's got the last pick right now.
Carter's got the Mr. Irrelevant or Mrs. Irrelevant pick.
I'm gonna just assume that Andy, Jan, and Robert are all gonna kind of be the three up front.
Yeah.
And Robert will be on the harp, and Jan will just be singing. Andy can play. He'll have to play piano because we don't have a bass player. And then I'm going to do the drummer from Drummer at the Wrong Gig as my drummer.
Okay.
He's the drummer. So when you guys have to watch.
I've seen it.
Have you seen it? Oh my Jems.
I've seen every episode 3 times because I've watched it through.
The drummer that's doing all the crazy stuff that's drumming against your drummer, Kevin.
Okay. Oh yeah.
It's from a YouTube video called Drummer at the Wrong Gig, and I think it's a legit gig, but they're playing a ZZ Top song.
Yeah.
And he's playing drums just like that while the other guys have like headset mics. It looks like they're in a church. He's like cringy.
Electric on it. It's like
it's cringy. But he's gonna be my drummer.
That's so awesome.
You have to watch it. Drummer at the Wrong Gig.
Dude, I've seen it. That's a great YouTube video. That's a viral video. I see it. I still see it every now and then. That's crazy. But yeah, I guess going through mine, I'm trying to think. I'm gonna guess.
Good notes.
Kelly, Mindy Kaling, and Angela are gonna they're gonna be like the backup to Michael Scott, who's gonna play guitar and sing. Jim's gonna play bass, and Dwight's playing drums. So I got like a Blink 182 with like backup singers.
I like that. I like that a lot.
So I think that's bad. It's pretty successful.
I'm gonna put this on like right before you do the episode. I'll put this out.
Can you put it inside your next album cover? Like
sure, I'll hide the names
of the CD.
Oh, you can. I don't care if you hide it or not.
Well, then people can guess.
Oh, you mean? Oh, yeah, definitely, yeah. Then people can guess. Yeah, it's fun though. It's like it's like a way to think about things in stupid forms or fashion. Like we've done pizza ingredients. We've done. By the way, just because it's a bone of contention. Jems had the last pick in the pizza one, and he took mac and cheese.
So, okay.
Can you put an entree on top of an entree?
Well, CC's, I believe, has gone out of business now.
CC's, I think, is still in business.
I used to enjoy the quantity over quality pizza, but my favorite pizza from CC's was the macaroni and cheese pizza because it was fantastic.
Surely CC's is a Midwest thing.
CC's is definitely... So, we had them in Virginia Beach,
really?
But we have them here. I have one like in Colorado. Yeah, there's one out here.
Is it still open? Because I kind of thought they closed down.
I'll have to look next time.
Episode.
I have to look when I drive past next time. But
COVID probably killed CC's because buffets probably not great for
buffets. But yeah, it definitely did.
Golden
Speaking,
Corral is still kicking though.
I know Golden Corral is still. I don't know how. By the way, you notice how Golden Corral's always right next to a Walmart? Just let y'all know that. Every time you see a Golden Corral, you're gonna be like, "There's a Walmart pretty close by." But Carter, since you did tour the country before COVID happened, and I'm assuming the plan is to do it again. Once everything gets less crazy. What's the weirdest meal you've ever eaten on the road?
Dude, I immediately it was like, this is back in the day. This is when I was in my little pop punk band that we're not going to say the name of right now. But I was down in Arkansas and I stayed at this dude's house. I'm going to be very general because anyway, we stayed at this dude's house and he was awesome. We were like 17 years old, and he was writing these like Aaron Weiss style, like sea shanty, piratey, theologic. Anyway, it was amazing. He's like, and back then you always needed a place to stay. So I was like, you can stay at my house. So I did, and it was one of those places where it's like he had 13 brothers and sisters, and we sat at this really long table. And we got there at like midnight. Everyone was still awake. And we all, as a family, sat down. So then there were 13, him, 14, mom, dad, 15, 16, and me, 17. All fit on this table. And we had pancakes. Normal pancakes, but they had this homemade secret sauce. They didn't have syrup. But they had this sauce that was just their own, like they could not wait for me to try it. And they all just lathered it. Everyone's using the same spoon. This would never happen nowadays. But there's like ladling this like purple, pinkish gelatin. I don't know. Anyway.
Like blood.
They're all, and when the bowl gets to me, the whole family's like waiting to see how much I put on, like how like into this I'm gonna get. And I put some, and I could not eat the pancake. It was this horrible, like, I don't know how to even describe it. It was like, I don't know. It was terrible. But that was the worst, weirdest meal I've ever had.
Is that like the Duggar's house or something?
Dude, oh God. Oh God.
You got the Duggar's house.
Pancakes with this gelatin secret sauce that was...
that sounds. I mean, it sounds weird. We actually had. I was gonna say the dude we told you about his book, Same Talent. He was in like bands before he became a comedian. He said he'll never eat quinoa again because everywhere he went had quinoa everywhere.
Really?
I guess like they were like a anarchist punk band. So I guess like just
militant vegans.
Quinoa was like real big, I guess. So he's like, everybody made his quinoa. And I was like, I never want it again. So makes sense. Yeah,
I know some of those guys.
Yeah,
we split up at the food court.
Oh yeah, I guess that is. Yeah, when you're touring on some of those ones get weird, right? They have some weird. Time for me, I'd make it easy as I'd just be like, oh, let's go to Taco Bell, I guess.
Yeah,
you can't ever go wrong with Taco Bell.
You think that Taco Bell consistently, while in a vehicle, driving for weeks at a time is tough stuff, especially the older you get.
Yeah, that's true.
Things are, yeah.
Well,
I can't believe that.
Yeah. Taco Bell, I'm sure it gets crazy, but I don't know. That's not bad. Although I will say, last time I went to Taco Bell, highly disappointed. They got rid of everything I like on the menu. It's like,
I haven't been in a long time.
It's bad. Like, I guarantee if you went, you're like, this is a whole new place. Like,
I haven't been in a long time. Not as in like I don't go to Taco Bell. It's just so far away from my house. I'd go there all the time.
Yeah. But I guarantee you, probably the thing that you order is not on the menu anymore.
Cheesy gordita crunch.
I don't think it's on the menu anymore.
That'd be kind of.
They don't have tacos anymore. That's how bad. No, I'm just kidding. No. So all right, Carter. We appreciate you coming. We appreciate you doing a draft with us. I want everybody to tell everybody 6 degrees of separation from them. How to get your record, where to get your record, when to get your record. So what is the best way for people on May 11th? 2021, my birthday. So when you 40th. See me post on Twitter, not my 40th, I'm gonna say, hey, go get Carter's record. But we're
doing a live stream. It'll be at 6:30 Central Standard Time. It's gonna be cool. We've got like Kevin's made this little mini documentary, like a couple minutes long. Taylor from Never Shout's playing bass. Gooding's playing the guitar. Dustin from the honorary title is playing keys.
Oh, nice.
Kev's playing the drums. It's gonna be really cool. That'll be at 6:30, and I don't know. Scott's running the live stream, so we've got some fun stuff planned.
That's super awesome.
It'll be for anybody that saw the Christmas one. It'll be, we kind of did some weird, fun stuff for that one. So. I would say there. If you go to carterhulsey.com on May 11th at 6:30. There'll be links to get the album. There'll be some like fun stuff. We're gonna release some like exclusive content during the show. It should be fun.
That'll be awesome. So I guess the one thing I've started to do with artists is because I want it to be most beneficial. Is there? I'll ask the question then, if so, you can tell us the answer. But is there a better place for people to pick up the record? Or like, because like for Sam, like he's like, if you buy it from me, I make like 10 times more money. It's for the same price. So it's like one of those like,
yeah, dude. Honestly,
I didn't know if books and records were the same.
Yeah, my ask my ask these days is not, I mean, it's just, it doesn't matter. You know, I mean, at the beginning of Spotify, you're like, please buy my record on iTunes. And it's like, dude, my ask now is just that, like, put it on a playlist and listen to it and tell a couple people about it. That's it. Like, I don't make any money from record sales or streaming any, but like the more people that know about it, the higher chance that somebody's going to come to a show, or like, you know, that's where artists make their money nowadays, you know, is through merchandise and like, you know, and I do a bunch of other stuff, like you were saying earlier, like publishing music and stuff like that. So as far as like picking up, start saying like, just throw it on a playlist and tell a couple of people about it. That's the most supportive thing you can do for an artist, in my opinion.
Well, that's awesome. That's and I can attest for having 12 years of knowing Carter, which is probably like over a third of your lifetime.
Yes.
Over a fourth of my lifetime, since Jems thinks I'm 40 years old. Great guy. We'll always put out top notch music. If you get a chance once COVID kind of like either we get it figured out or whatever, where shows can happen, if you see Carter near your area, go see him. You won't regret going to see him. Go say hi to him. He'll love it. And just continue to support things that you care about, because that's legitimately what I do. I've found Carter. I think before I even met Carter, I made a Carter shirt. I think that's like, and that's where, because I couldn't even find merch now, and then I bought all the merch from Carter, even though he tries not to let me buy it from my slip 20s into his pocket. But yeah, so when you get a chance, go support it. And then if you're listening to this and you can't remember CarterHulsey.com, which is pretty easy to remember, you probably should get some things checked out if you can't remember that. But go to just follow us on Twitter at Off the Rails, and I will post about it as well. So you will get it one way or the other. Is that Carter Hulsey is just all of your tags everywhere, right?
That's it. Yep.
Sweet. Yeah, can't beat that. So we'll say bye, and then we'll talk afterwards for a second too. Thanks everybody for watching. Jems, you got any parting shots?
I think you told our Twitter handle wrong.
Oh, did I?
Yeah. It's
Off
the rails _pod.
_pod. That's right. Thank you for cleaning that up. That's why you co-write with people.
Golly, you gotta have it.
There's a street light out where the children play. Just outside of Austin, there is an old car parked with a glove box full. It's things I should be tossing. I called a friend to say I'm on my way. I need a vacation. She said I'm right here. Find your way. And why not just start staying? I've been standing here way too long, for way too long now. I've been standing here way too long, for way too long now. I need something in my chest. I need a song that's worth singing. I need something in my cup. Someone tell me it's worth saving. It's worth saving. I see the windshield fog as you doze off and we're driving through Missouri. This is a place I loved, a place I lost, but I won't be long for staying. Yeah, I just had a friend that called. We need to talk about things we ain't been saying. Now his bags are stacked in our garage. He needs some help with carrying. I've been standing